Once upon a time, I was a boy genius. Now, I didn't do anything cool like build robots or speak 11 languages. I didn't win any chess tournaments or piano competitions. I was a lazy kid from bumfuck Georgia. But I had a talent for filling in ovals with a number 2 pencil. When I was in 7th grade, I signed up for the Talent Identification Program at Duke University. The way it works is you take the SAT when you're in junior high, and if you get over a certain score, you go to a summer camp where you take high school classes and get to know your fellow gifties. So I took the SAT with 20,000 other 7th graders from across the Southeast. And when the results came back, I had the top score. And I had also outscored 99% of high school seniors. Now, I was not a popular kid. I was a head shorter than my classmates. I was kind of chunky. My name is Ralph. And the kids at camp, they didn't like me a whole lot either, but I was famous for having potential. The American Academy of Achievement, this is a real thing, they invited me to the Banquet of the Golden Plate in New Orleans. They called it the Gathering of the Greats, a salute to the captains of achievement in the great fields of endeavor. The award was a dinner plate with a gold rim. That year they gave one to Stephen Jay Gould and Brooke Shields and Wayne Gretzky. And they called me to the stage to receive a Golden Eagle Award for the promise of greatness. It was also a plate. And this is where I met my very first crush, the 1982 National Spelling Bee champion. But best of all, I got to meet my hero, Steve Jobs. I had an Apple II Plus with 64K, and here was the man looking me right in the eye. He was 26 years old. He still had a mustache. And he told me that when I got older, I should drop acid. And that night, Steve Jobs took my big sister out for drinks in the French Quarter. Next, they sent me to Bulgaria to attend the Banner of Peace International Children's Assembly, a festival of young artists, musicians, and dancers from around the world, and a 12-year-old kid who was good at math. I didn't offer much entertainment value, but I brought baseball cards, and I traded them for pins with pictures of Karl Marx. Now, back at home, my mom picked me up from school every day and drove an hour to Athens so I could take math classes at the university. And we appeared in a television special called Making Better Babies. Yeah. And I was in it ostensibly as one of the better babies. I was 13 years old in my pastel blue 80s jacket, like something Simon Le Bon might have worn 2 years previously. And I am at the blackboard explaining the Hairy Ball theorem. Now, the Hairy Ball theorem says that if you have a ball and it's covered in hair, you can comb that hair all you want, but you can never comb it flat. Somewhere, the hair is going to stick out. Well, that's as far as I ever got with math, but the next year I applied to college full-time, and Duke knew about me, so they let me in with a scholarship, and I dropped out of school and began my new life as a college freshman. My parents saw to it that I was in the all-guys dorm, so the co-eds wouldn't de-virginize me. But that wasn't really an issue, because by this point I was 15, but puberty runs late in my family. I still hadn't grown, my voice hadn't changed, and I acted like a kid too. I wore my room key on a shoelace around my neck, like I was still at camp. And I used my meal plan to buy gummy bears by the pound. And I sat alone on my bed reading the assignments and eating the gummy bears one by one, listening to Genesis. Now, the guys down the hall, they'd let me hang out and watch Letterman and Miami Vice, but that was the extent of my social life. There was half of college that I had not been invited to. Well, in those days, the drinking age in North Carolina was still 19, and every week there were keg parties up and down the quad in the open air. Every fraternity had one. Every keg was surrounded by a mob of freshmen holding plastic cups. Well, one night I decided I wanted in. I didn't know if I even wanted a beer, but it was the principle of the thing. I mean, I took my midterms too. I should be there. So I make my way into the crowd and I grab a plastic cup. And I turn my arm behind me like so, hoping that they will not match the cup to my face. Well, it could have worked, but I was too hard to miss, and a guy who must have been the president of the fraternity, he approaches me, and he says, "Hey, kid, what are you doing here on campus?" I said, "Well, I mean, I go here. I'm a freshman." He says, "Wait, how old are you?" I said, I'm 15. And he puts his arm around me, and he says, "You're 15, and you're a freshman here. Give this man a beer." And someone did, and and it was all foam, and it was kind of tasty, really. But by the end of the year, I was tired of feeling like a novelty act, and the only way to fix that was to get older. So I took a leave of absence. I went back home, and I finished high school. And sure enough, I did get taller, and my voice changed. And when I got back for sophomore year, hardly anyone recognized me. I moved into the hippie dorm. I took Steve Jobs' advice. Eventually, I wound up in law school, and now I don't stand out so much. If a stranger spots me on the street, it's usually because they've mistaken me for Aaron Sorkin. And there isn't much trace left of the whiz kid. A folder full of newspaper clippings, a poster from Bulgaria, a dinner plate with a gold rim, and a box in the back of the closet. And most of my friends, they don't even know. It just doesn't come up. But it doesn't go away either. And even now, 30 years later, especially right now, I still feel like I'm the little kid in the room. And I guess the past, it's like that hairy ball. You can try to comb it down, but you can never comb it flat.
What the hell is wrong with me? My friends say I should have